बात करें बॉलिंग में वो थोड़े मिसिंग है इसमें कैसे आपने इस टीम को
अगर आप टीम को देखो तो एट टाइम्स आपको आगे का शेड्यूल भी देखना होता है एंड इस सीज़न में हम 13 टेस्ट मैचेस खेल रहे हैं। उसके बाद आईपीएल होगा फॉलोड बाय चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी है उसके बाद। सो अगर आप आगे देख रहे हो तो आपको देखना पड़ेगा देयर इज़ नो लिटरल ब्रेक इन द मिडिल। ऐसा कोई लंबा 2 महीने का या 1 महीने का लंबा ब्रेक नहीं है। सो आई थिंक इट्स अ गुड डिसीजन। एट टाइम्स यू हैव टू सी द लॉन्ग टर्म थिंग एंड आई फील लुकिंग एट द टेस्ट मैचेज और जिस तरीके से इंडिया में होंगे और जिस तरीके का प्रेशर रहेगा स्पेशली बॉलर्स के ऊपर, आई थिंक इट्स अ गुड डिसीजन टू रेस्ट देम एंड हमें एक अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलेगी। जो रेगुलर प्लेयर्स ओडीआई के पार्ट रहे हैं वो अगर नहीं है तो दूसरे जो प्लेयर्स हैं उनको चांस मिलेगा एंड इट विल बी गुड टू सम एक्सटेंट सी द बेंच स्ट्रेंथ एंड ऑल्सो हम सिर्फ 8 मैचेस खेल रहे हैं ओडीआईज बिफोर चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी। सो whatever we have in our mind, we can do in these games and see where we are going.
Captain, after the Zimbabwe series, Sanjay Manga had said that as a person you have opened up a lot, and at this stage of your career, having achieved everything almost, whatever a captain wanted to, how do you look at success, and do you think your role has changed a bit?
Role doesn't change, when you are the senior member of the squad, irrespective of whether you're captain, vice captain or not, there are a lot of extra responsibility, that's on you. You have to talk to the youngsters, you have to guide them as to what needs to be done, and a lot of things have changed. I made my debut in 2004, and from 2004 now, a lot of things have changed. The way cricket is played, has changed a lot, and the kind of players who are coming into the Indian team now, it's look drastically different to what we are used to. So that's where a bit of sharing experience with the youngsters and at the same time putting more emphasis on the fitness part and a mix of all these things are where my role to some extent has changed. Other than that, it's quite the same. You try to interact with the youngsters a lot, and at the same time with the support staff as to where the cricket is moving, how Test cricket is played differently, how ODI cricket is played differently now. So a lot has changed, and you have to keep evolving with time, and that's what I've been trying to do.
Pragya.
I wanted to ask about your batting position. You have Rena missing out now. So would you, restrict yourself to be a finisher role, or could we see you in the coming days and at position 4 roles?
I may bat slightly up the order now, and this team will give me an opportunity to bat at the number that I'm looking for. But still, it will be quite low. It's not like a number 4 where I could bat, but still it will be relatively higher than what I've been used to in the last few years.
Question from you.
Just to follow up to that, with the Champions Trophy coming up, and you've also spoken a lot about identifying, players to play in your finishing roles, along with you. So, have you identified in the ways that ODI cricket that's being played has changed? Have you identified someone who can probably go from ball one, say like a Butler does for England or a Maxwell for Australia?
It's a difficult one. You talked about Butler and Maxwell, but you have to see the consistent performance. It's some of the most difficult thing, or one of the most difficult thing to do in cricket. And it's not about just 6 months or 1 year. You have to be used to that role and responsibility, and you have to have that self-confidence to keep on doing what is required of you. Especially over a period of time. And usually, once you find a good finisher, they are the ones who keep batting at that slot for maybe 8 to 10 years. And I think one of the biggest challenges, the cricket that we play in the subcontinent, more often than not, I personally feel a finisher is somebody who bats at 5, 6, 7, to some extent maybe 4, but still for me it's more 5, 6, 7. And a lot of times you don't get opportunity. If your top order is batting really well, and if you are doing bulk of the scoring, then your role completely changes. And that's the time you have to keep up with the pace of the game and the requirement also, because a lot of times in India the lower order doesn't get a chance to bat, and I've kept saying about this, and it becomes more and more difficult for a youngster to come in and fill in that space. The reason being, he may not get an opportunity, and you start counting opportunities, as to if you are, let's say, 4 or 5 down for 40 runs, and it will be counted as a big opportunity. But you have to see it's very difficult. In 15 or 20 games, you get an opportunity like that, and you expect the youngster to do well in that particular inning, score 100 and 150 and say, okay, there was a perfect opportunity in front of you. But we have to admit it's one of the most difficult things to do. As far as identifying, individuals who can do the job, we have identified a few, but we'll still like to keep the names, to ourselves. The reason being we don't want any undue pressure on the individuals, who will be batting at that slot trying to do the finishing job.
Molin.
Captain, during your captaincy career, you always stressed on the bowlers. For this particular series, since the three regular bowlers have been rested, is it more about with the young new bowling coming up? Is it more about the management skills coming to the fore and backing them and taking them over of the team players?
Man management is slightly different. Talent management is also something that's required at this stage. And I feel the execution part is the most important. You can manage, the individual can do a lot, but at the end of the day, at the right moment, they have to execute. So that's where the crucial point is. And if you see Bumrah has done really well for us, whatever games he has played. So he's become like a banker, especially when it comes to the death bowling. And in a similar way, we'll see what others have to offer. Umesh is there, he is getting a chance again to play at this level, and especially in the limited over format, he has been somebody who has pace and who has developed his bowling over the years. So it will be a good chance for him to express himself. He's bowling quick, he's fit. So I feel he can also contribute, and it gives us a chance to see all the other individuals also. Dhawan has been somebody who has done consistently well in the domestic circuit. So unless you give them chance, it's very difficult to predict as to how good they will be at the top level, because I feel the difference when it comes to our domestic and the first class cricket and compared to international cricket is quite big. So I feel it's a good exposure for them, and it's good for us to see them how they respond to pressure.
I'll take last two questions. Question for and then Mr. Shekhar, please.
You've repeatedly talked about identifying talent in various positions and across the spectrum, but in the last 1.5 years or so, we've tried about 40 people in the ODIs, of which the core of 11, 12 remains more or less the same. So it's the last 3 or 4 that keeps changing, and a lot of those times they don't actually get to play. So as someone who's led the Indian team for so long, just explain the whole experimentation process in the last 3, 4 players.
Again, India is all about winning. Let's be frank, when the media talks about stuff, you only want the Indian cricket team to win. So at the end of the day, it becomes difficult. If you see the top batting order, if you rest Virat or Ajinkya Rahane for a couple of games, you'll be like, what's really happening, why are they given rest? So whatever opportunity you have, you're trying to make the most of it. You said 40 players have been tried. Quite a few of them would have gone to Zimbabwe. So, all of a sudden you say, okay, 14 or 15 was there, and then a few injuries here and there. So it's not a realistic number, but at the same time, there are a few slots that we are definitely looking forward for, and there are a few individuals who we are very keen to see, what they really have on offer. And with the Indian team, it's very difficult. Let's be fair about it. It's very difficult to give chances because we have to win games and then also look at the process. So we try our best to do what is in favor of the result and the team at the same time. Now there's slightly more pressure because we only have 8 games. This is a season we'll be playing a lot of test matches. We'll be playing only 8 games, getting into IPL and Champions Trophy. So it's a different challenge, but we are open and we'll use the 8 games in the best possible manner.
Last question.
Mali, you have been captain for so long, and now you are only playing the limited overs. Do you think this having different captains at different levels is fine for India right now? And also, how do you see your relationship with Kohli on the field? Because now he's leading the test side. Do you use him more because he's probably interacting with players more?
Well,
it has changed.
I've already started using him more. There's more interaction, and it's evident if you watch the game. There's more interaction on the field and everything, because 2 individuals, of course, will conduct in different ways. So it's important to during the course of the game, because practical is something that's very important. A lot of time you can argue on the theory aspect, but practicality is more often than not during the game. So you always talk about it as to, okay, what should be done now, and he will give an example. Then if I'm not on the same page, I'll explain as to why I think this may not work, and if, let's say, if I go with my decision forward and if it doesn't work, then it gives me also a fresh view as to, okay, maybe the other thing would have worked. But at the end of the day, as a leader, you have to take responsibility for what happens. So that's there. And about the split captainship, I think we follow, will you call West a lot? Because I remember a few years back we were talking about split captaincy. Now we are talking about why we have split captaincy. So I think, a lot of times we look at the foreign teams as to what they are doing, and we are like, we should be doing that way. But it's more about what trend we want to set, what is good for our team, because culture-wise we are very different. The amount of cricket we play is very different to what some of the other teams do. So it's an answer that best sorted will be from your side. You guys will have to see what really is best for Indian cricket and move forward, because let's not look at the West. Okay, they are doing this, let's do this. Oh, they are into gym, let's go into gym. We are a different team, and we do our own things to be successful.
Thank you.